5 seconds. Start. The present appeal arises out of the impugned order dated 19/11/2024 passed by the High Court of Judicature at Madras in 2023 under Section 482 of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. FIR registered for offences under Section 417, 420, 465, 468, 471 and 120B of the Indian Penal Code 1860 on the file of the Learned Special Metropolitan Magistrate Special Court for Exclusive Trial of Land Grabbing Case, Chennai. We have heard the learned counsel for the parties and have carefully perused a material on record. The jurisdiction under Section 482 of the CRPC is extraordinary in nature and is to be exercised with great caution. This court in Catena of Judgments has emphasized that the High Court must avoid usurping the function of the trial court or conducting a mini-trial when disputed factual questions attend the maintainability of a complaint. The only requirement is to examine whether the uncontroverted allegations as contained in the FIR taken at their face value disclose the commission of any cognizable offence. The interpretation of the various relevant provisions of the Code under Chapter 14 and of the principles of law enunciated by this court in a series of decisions relating to the exercise of the extraordinary power under Article 226 or the inherent powers under Section 482 of the Code, which we have extracted and reproduced above. We have given the following categories of case by way of illustration wherein such power could be exercised either to prevent abuse of the process of any court or otherwise to secure the ends of justice, though it may not be possible to lay down any precise, clearly defined and significantly channelized and inflexible guidelines in rigid formula and to give an exhaustive list of myriad kinds of cases wherein such power should be exercised. Where the allegations made in the first information report or the complaint, even if they are taken at their face value and accepted in their entirety, do not prima facie constitute any offence to make out a case against the accused. Where the allegations in the first information report and other material, if any, accompanying the FIR do not disclose a cognizable offence justifying an investigation by police officer under Section 156(1) of the Code except under an order of a magistrate within the purview of Section 155(2) of the Code. Where the uncontroverted allegations made in the FIR or complaint and the evidence collected in support of the same do not disclose the commission of any offence and make out a case against the accused, where the allegations in the FIR do not constitute a cognizable offence but constitute only a non-cognizable offence, no investigation is permitted by a police officer without an order of a magistrate as contemplated under section 155(2) of the code, where the allegation made in the FIR or complaint are so absurd and inherently improbable on the basis of which no prudent person can ever reach a just conclusion that there is sufficient ground for proceeding against the accused, where there is an express legal bar engrafted in any of the provisions of the code or of the concerned act under which a criminal proceeding is instituted to the institution and continuance of the proceedings, and or where there is a specific provision in the code or the concerned act providing efficacious redress for the grievance of the aggrieved party, where a criminal proceeding is manifestly attended with malafide and or where the proceeding is maliciously instituted with an ulterior motive for wreaking vengeance on the accused and with a view to spite him due to private and personal grudge. In the impugned order, the High Court has quashed the proceedings primarily on the ground that the validity of the settlement deeds has been upheld in the proceedings before the civil court. We are of the view that this approach adopted by the High Court is not correct. It is a settled principle of criminal jurisprudence that civil liability and criminal liability may arise from the same set of facts and that the pendency or conclusion of civil proceedings does not bar prosecution where the ingredients of a criminal offence are disclosed. Adjudication in civil matters and criminal prosecution proceed on different principles. The decree passed by the civil court neither recorded finding on criminal intent nor on the existence of offences such as forgery, cheating, or use of forged documents. Therefore, civil adjudication cannot always be treated as determinative of criminal culpability at the stage of quashment. Moreover, in the case at hand, the civil proceedings have not attained finality. All contentions of the parties on merit are left open. We make it clear that none of the observations contained herein shall have a bearing on the main trial. The trial court shall independently arrive at its conclusion based on the evidence tendered before it full stop.